bulk of the series, meat and potatoes of the episode tonight. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We all went to Fat Boy Burrito. We had some margaritas.
That's right,
we had some burritos.
Margaritas
Rob just
at
shit
work.
all the burrito out just now.
It was great.
But Rob, what did we do today that was so special and we got to finally see?
Oh, we finally. So before we delve into that, I just wanted to say shout out to my parents. My mom passed away in 2021, but today would have been their 50th wedding anniversary. So shout out to them. But on a lighter note, we took a little field trip before the show today, and we finally got to see the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And I'm super appreciative to Vin for scooping those pictures.
Chris was not there.
You guys always schedule your fucking trips everywhere on days that I'm fucking working, you cocksuckers.
I still haven't seen Ant-Man, to be fair. So
when did he get? Where are we getting yelled at all the time here?
Always getting yelled at.
I'm keeping the show interesting.
It's the yelled at podcast.
I'm not that man. I'm just saying, anytime you guys go to see a fucking movie, it's fucking Friday at 2 o'clock when Chris is at work.
I'm off, motherfucker.
Dude, that's our
I know
day.
you are.
Not
But
anymore.
I am not.
Now I'm fucked, so I get to join that crew.
now
I
you're
don't get to go to the
roping you
movies
in.
now either.
You get to go to the movies.
Nobody gets to go to the movies.
All I have
No, I bought all the
Rob
tickets
for 5 hours a week.
That's all right. I wasn't itching to see this anyway, but you guys liked it, right?
Loved it.
It
Thought it was an excellent story.
Best.
If you're a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, you will love this movie. Really pulled on the heartstrings, but it was also fucking hilarious at times.
Where would you rank it if we want to go around in terms of, this is a trilogy, right? So this is the third one?
I would say that this is as good as the first.
Give me a score, Rob.
A score?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I would give it a solid. So if we're calling like Infinity War like a 10, I would call this like a 9. Like, it's up there for me. I really enjoyed it. I will watch this movie again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a solid round-off of a really great series of movies about characters that you may not have particularly ever fucking heard of, but by the end of the first movie, you care about every one of them. And they did an excellent job of fleshing out those characters, and I think that's really what opened up the floodgates to start bringing in some of these lesser-known characters and being like, we can really tell some stories with these guys and like bring them to the forefront. And we don't have to start scrounging to make new characters because there are great characters that they can pull from the comics.
We're a family,
and that's really like because they were the introduction to the truly cosmic.
Got Vin Diesel Groot this time
of problems and stuff. And I think it was a solid addition. I think this is the best Marvel movie we've gotten in quite some time. I would say.
Like you say that.
Easy.
You said that recently. I don't think that.
Rob's good at,
Yeah.
It's like Joe. Joe will be like, I am the best person ever. And I'm like, Joe, everybody's the best person ever.
I am curious Joe's number because I think Joe grades on more of a curve where he very rarely gives anything a 10 or even a 9.
Movies are hard to get a 10. Games are a little bit easier to get a 10. Like, I definitely would have given Resident Evil 4 a 10. This movie was very, very good. It was very entertaining. I did kind of nap off a little bit during the middle of it, but
showing your age.
Just really comfortable seats. You sit in that theater is
very
just
comfortable.
Oh, you went to which one?
We went to the Huntington Dine-In AMC,
and then
theater.
I ate like right before the movie, which is like I had a full meal, I had quesadilla, I had a full whatever. Anyway, the movie was very good. The movie was very entertaining. Full fleshed out story, origin story of Rocket Raccoon.
Awesome.
You get to see his full start to finish. Why he is the way he is. How he has mistrust, and because of it was a very heartfelt but warm and yet funny movie. I think that's the thing that Kevin Feige does really well is he tugs on your heartstring. But James Gunn, Kevin Feige was on the credits as well.
Well, he's the producer for sure. But Gunn he's got his flavor in there.
And he's going to DC now, is that right?
That's right. He's the
Gunn
head.
Executes
the head of DC.
Where I feel like Taika Waititi goes a little too far with the humor.
The blend of humor and then emotion it's perfect.
Yes.
So this is a perfect
out of the 3 Guardians movies, where do you rank it? And then what do you score it?
I probably would say it's the second best one. I think Volume 1 would still be up there on as my favorite. I would probably give it a solid 8.4.
8.4. Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
Very good movie. This is a must-watch Marvel movie. The only thing that negates it from being like anything that, if you don't watch this, you're going to miss out, is there's no real correlation from this movie that's going to tie into anything else other than the Guardians kind of like world. So you're not missing out, Chris, if you haven't watched the other 45 Marvel movies.
Right.
If you just want to watch an entertaining movie that's funny, heartfelt, has great character development, this is a good one.
Awesome.
Finn, give us your thoughts on Guardians Volume 3.
No, I'm chewing on goldfish.
There you go.
You guys just shut up.
Fucking smiles back.
They're yapping the whole way. I'm like, let me eat these. And hey, Vin.
Hey, Vin.
I think it was a 9. I would give it a 9, definitely. It ranks in the top 10 of best Marvel movies.
Really? Top
easily.
10?
Yeah, I think so. I think if we listed them out, it could get there pretty quick. Easy 15, considering how many fucking movies there are. It's saying something.
Too many.
It's such a good bow on the series. It stands on its own, so yeah, you wouldn't have to see it to really care. It's like mainly about Rocket, so you get his origin story, you understand everything that he stems from and how he actually is like the focal point of the group over Quill or anybody else. And it does tie into the relationship of Quill and Gamora, where if you didn't see anything else, that would be a little odd.
That would be like the one thing you really.
There was a new Gamora. The actual Gamora died, but because of the multiverse, this other fucking Gamora had time traveled with Thanos, the second Thanos. So, anyway, visually, a lot of great scenes. So the one takeaway, I gotta say, I'm sitting there. It's upsetting because you know it's the conclusion. It definitely feels like the definitive conclusion to the first era of the Marvel MCU, because these characters are going to go their separate ways. They decide to move on. Quill goes back to Earth for the first time. Spoilers.
Bowl of cereal, dude.
Yeah, bowl of cereal, man. You know, he sees his grandpa. It's a big deal. Started the movie. So to me, the biggest takeaway with Guardians and why it's so successful is it's all about the characters. They don't make as much of a spectacle as being out in space and fucking nowhere and all the gods and they're in a god's head and they don't over try to sell that shit. It's always there underlying in the story. They almost say it passing in reference, but you care about them. That movie opens, I swear, I remember going to that movie going, I don't know anything about these fucking dudes. I don't know if this movie's going to suck, what to expect. Trailer looked good. Cool music, had a fucking, well, aside from that one fucking song, has the best soundtrack of every fucking
That's
movie.
a really good point, because most of the Marvel movies, you have some sort of understanding of the character. Unless you're like a crazy Marvel person, first watching Guardians, you're like, I don't really know what this is. But it's so good that you begin to like immediately become a huge fan of all these characters.
They open the movie with the guy's mom dying.
Yeah.
And you just, if you're a little boy, you know, you're going to think of your mom and all that. They got you in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then he gets abducted into space, and you're just taken on this Star Wars-esque journey. This Luke gets off his home planet. That's, you know, the feeling that James Gunn says he wanted to express. He didn't want to make a carbon copy or a movie that felt like it was in Star Wars, which brings me to a point of really surprised he hasn't been offered a Star Wars movie. Because he could fucking destroy one.
Over fucking Ryan Johnson.
Shout out to the little.
I don't think that's so. Feige and James. So yeah, now the other thought I had watching this movie is, man, DC is about to get really fucking good. If this guy has the vision that he's applied to this, and he applies it to fucking Superman, and he applies it to the Justice League and all the characters that deserve to be properly done the right way,
like Green Lantern,
you might actually give a shit about DC over the next 10 years, and we might actually be sitting here talking a lot about it, because when I look at not only the visuals, the actual quality of what they're doing or what he's doing, but how much you care, how much you give a shit about fully animated fucking character, Rocket and the Otter. They're literally just a fully animated, and you're like, you're welling up with tears and
Groot
shit.
as well.
Groot, of course. Yeah, Groot's always...
I am Groot.
Vin Diesel Groot this time. Finally got some words out.
Yep.
But yeah, it was definitely... I think it's a 9. If you're watching a movie and you're welling up with tears, they're carrying that emotion through the fucking screen, you know, you're like, that's a solid
crying
movie.
for
It's
a raccoon over here.
Yeah, good storytelling, a lot of fun, very fucking funny. Also, the one good thing with Guardians 2 is they can help set the tone of the future of Marvel. So if Marvel can look at that movie and go, all right, like, That's what they did with Guardians 1, because Guardians back then in the Marvel phase was really stale. I think Thor had come out, and it was like, this sucks. Like, no one was really happy about where it was going. I think Iron Man 2 and all that, they were just like, this isn't really that great, as much as everybody likes to look back and be like, oh, they were all the best.
Avengers kicked it off all the way.
Avengers was the one that was just like, holy shit.
Skyrocketed everything.
But that was the
Avengers is kind of what took me out of it all, I think.
Oh, my God.
Really?
Well, because you were talking about this earlier and how I don't follow Marvel as much, and it's just like, that's when it got to a point where it became hard for me to follow.
Bro, the first fucking Avengers movie when Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, and fucking Black Widow get together, and it's Hawkeye. Like, I remember being ready to stand
3 days in a row.
in that movie theater. I was like on the edge of my seat because it was just so epic. I can't.
It was tough
I
getting
can't. I
tickets,
can't
too,
even
when that first
understand
dropped.
how.
Amazing.
Anyway.
I remember like I had to sit in like the second row. Like,
Top
I was
5.
It's still good.
sitting
Top
there
5.
looking like this, just to see it like early.
Top 5
and I was
superhero
like,
movies ever. In my
Definitely. I mean, hands down. So it was something that never had been done really well, like bringing characters from their own individual movie series together.
Other than
and
the
To
Hulk.
this day, I
making
think
it
Infinity War was
coherent.
the biggest crowd reaction I've ever seen in a movie theater. Like when
Now they're a victim
when
of their
Cap
own
gets
success.
the Mjolnir and fucking
To Joe's point, to
was
your
Endgame.
point now,
Endgame. Sorry.
the one thing this lacks and the one criticism that or whatever that people may have, or it doesn't have the tie-in. It doesn't have the big grandiose Thanos tie-in.
Yeah.
Gamora was the daughter of Thanos. He was spoken about. He wasn't necessarily shown in that movie, but his presence was there. And in these movies right now, it's like, where are we going?
The
now the
side
audience...
stories
Wouldn't it
kinda-
make sense that with James Gunn divesting from Marvel and going into the whole DC thing, this is like
Well,
James
it makes sense
Gunn's
because
vision, right?
these guys have been doing this for over 12 years or whatever. I forgot when the first fucking... When was the first Guardians? 12 years is an exaggeration. It's like 8 years.
Probably like 2014, maybe 20.
So we're almost 10 years now. They get tired of this shit. They don't want to be fucking Star-Lord and fucking Drax anymore. They want to go do their own thing. So that's also part of, like, in that movie, what you're experiencing. Like, you can tell the actors are... They end the movie going their separate ways.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, okay, that
Too
phase
much of a good
the
thing
Guardians,
is a bad thing, though. I'm
yeah,
a
you
firm
don't want it
believer
to
in
go.
that.
It gets
Yeah.
corny. You keep it gets too repetitive. So this is a bow on the series. It's a really good, I feel like, ending to that. To me, that whole phase.
Each
everything
character gets
from-
their final, like, okay, this story block has ended, and now here's where the next phase of their life is going to be.
They're growing as
They're
characters.
growing as characters.
Yeah,
But you see, like, the evolution from where they became a team, and now they're going to break off, and now they're going to kind of do their own things.
Yep.